All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Look at you. You made it to another episode of We Did That Shit podcast, where we talk about who did some shit, how we got through some shit, and what we learned from shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Bibbi. Podcast family, we appreciate your support. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you like what you hear, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and tell us what you think. We're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit.
Hey, girl. I'll tell you what, if people knew what we had to go through to just get to an episode, I don't It's a lot.
Oh my goodness, that is crazy. What's up, Maya?
What's going on?
Girl, today's a new day. How was your week?
You all happy and chipper?
Yeah.
My week was pretty good. My week was good. Did anything exciting happen?
Yes.
Well, last week we talked about getting stood up and being ghosted. And then we talked about saying yes to all dates.
Mm-hmm. But I said, I'm not, I that's for you. I can't say yes to all dates. I'm only saying yes to dates if I really would like to go out with that person.
Oh, okay. Well, since you were saying, go ahead.
I'm not saying yes and canceling anymore. Because I'm thinking like that. That's why I'm being stood up out in these streets. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good way to look at it. But after we said we were saying yes to all dates, I said yes to a date.
Yay!
And you know, the day the date came, I was like, I ain't going. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go. And it was a last minute date too. It wasn't even like a planned, hey, let's go out next Tuesday. It was like that day, earlier in the day, hey, you want to get together this evening? And I was getting ready to be like, nah, I'm good. I got stuff to do. But I switched around some things, missed my workout, and went on a date.
I'm so proud of you.
I was proud of myself, actually.
I guess same day dates, they're good because, you know, you got less time to get stood up. You know?
Or less time to kind of change your mind, because when you think about something, it's like, yeah. But the date was very good.
Very good?
No, it was very good. Let me tell you, this is the first time that I've been out on a date in many moons with someone new, not like my like regulars, you know, but just someone new that it went good from the beginning to the end.
So it was a great first date.
It was a great first date.
Okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being like the worst thing ever, 10 being the best first date ever, what was it?
I don't know, because
now you have to consider what a first date is. You usually don't know the person very well. You don't know what to expect. So don't compare them to somebody that you had a first date with and then you know them forever and you love them now. So you can't compare that. I'm just saying, first date only. On a scale of 0 to 10, how great was the date?
I give it a 9 for sure.
What holds it back from being a 10?
It might have been a 10. If I think about it in the way that you just said it, like not like, oh, I love them now, or, you know, I was with them or whatever. Yeah. Yes. Just like a good, it might have been a 10. It might have been a 10. And the reason why it was a 10, just briefly, I'll let you know, he did everything right from the time he walked through the door, the way he looked.
Right. Break it down, Maya, because people need to hear this.
Listen.
Everything right.
He did everything right. And it's right for you. It's not right. You know, might have... listen.
This should be universal right. This should be universal right.
But some people don't think the way that we think, in the way of how you want a man to be, the old fashioned, ways that you want men to be. A lot of people don't think like that. They think like
Yeah, they're wrong.
2018.
They're
They
wrong.
might be wrong, but according to how we feel,
Right.
a man should be on a date. He did
It's
everything.
our podcast. Tell them about how
Okay.
Right.
Well, you got a point there. He did everything right. He came in. He looked very nice. When mind is coming from work, because this was a weekday, and he looked very nice. I mean, well put together from head to toe, from the hat down to the shoes.
All right.
And when he came in, he greeted me with a hug.
Oh.
And it was like not a church hug, like a pat.
I hate
with
pat
the butt sticking out.
Right.
It was like a nice hug, but not like too trying to be like.
I was about to say, you let him hug you because you know how you are.
Yeah, but it wasn't like romantic. It was just like a
friendly hug.
Yes, it was a friendly hug.
Right.
Then where I was sitting at, now mind you, real quick, it was steps going up to where we were sitting at.
Okay.
I sat with my back toward the steps because I'm thinking like I'll sit with my back toward the door. I only sit with my back toward the door when I'm with a man because a man should be protective. So I'll sit with my back to the door. If I'm with my chicks, I can't sit with my back towards the door. So I sat where I sat because I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'll sit with my back toward the steps where he could see who's coming up the steps or whatever. It was a gate in the back. It was a door in the back of us. So I didn't know it was a door. When he came over and he gave me the hug, he was like, we got to switch seats. And I was like, oh, okay. And I turned around and I saw the door because mind you, I didn't see the door. And I was like, he was like, I can't have my back toward the door. That was the first
ding, ding,
plus.
ding, ding, ding,
so
ding,
I was
ding.
like, oh, it's going to be a great date. This is going to be a great date for that reason only, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we sat down, to make the long story short, we had great conversation. It was, it was nice. We ordered. It was all good. We ate. We talked. It was no dead space. It was just like a go. You can
make the long story long because I had nothing to talk about. I was stood up. So.
Oh, okay. So then, when it was, I'll fast forward to the end of the date. When it was the end of the date, I excused myself to go to the restroom, and I went down to the restroom. And when I came back up, he had paid the bill.
Okay. He
had boxed my food up.
Oh.
Then he got a bag. He put the food in the bag, Then he stood up and helped me out my seat. My coat on. Walked to the door, and he carried the takeout bag. When I got to the door, of course, I moved to the side because I don't walk out no door with no man. You hold the door.
Exactly.
So he held the door. Then when we got down the steps, he walked on the outside of the street. I didn't have to pull him and move him. Nothing. Right. He just walked on the outside of the street. We got to my car, opened my car door, put me in the car. It was, let me tell you.
Refreshing.
It was refreshing to be with a manly man.
Right.
That's what made the date.
That's not a manly man. That's a gentleman.
Yeah, gentleman.
A gentleman.
And gentleman, whatever we want to call it, that's what he was. That's what made the date a 10 because there was no, in my mind, I couldn't find one thing like, I can't believe he did that. Oh, I hope he don't do this. It was nothing. It was nothing. So we ended the night and with a kiss goodnight.
What?
Kiss goodnight.
It's been 5 years. Go ahead, girl.
I've been taking notes while we doing the podcast. Now, is it going to be like, like we going to be together in a relationship in 5 minutes?
Here we go. Great. But first date, but you back to the 10-year plan. Oh my goodness.
It was a refreshing, really nice first date. Like I came home with a smile on my face.
Oh. It's a cute smile too. Go ahead, girl.
So yeah, it was nice. So that's how my week was. And I worked out and my arm feels like it's going to fall off, but that's a whole nother, thing. You can't really dwell on that when you had the date during the week. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was good. How was your week?
Well, I'm excited about your date. I got nothing going on, But you know what? maybe it'll happen for me one day, and maybe not. But my week was progressive.
Good.
My week was progressive. So I did. I got the keys to the apartment.
Oh, good.
I did. But
even though I'm still not really like happy about that, but
it's okay because he said he's not ready.
Oh, okay. All right, Jig.
No. He said he's not really ready. So I guess we're going to do this in baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out later, but at least that's progress.
Yeah.
I did get the keys. And I also adopted a new attitude at work.
No, nice.
I did. I'm just to the point where, you know what? I love my job. I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And I really don't feel, I think that it is a hostile work environment as far as I'm concerned. It is a hostile work environment. Mm-hmm. And it really shouldn't have to be that way. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. And I'm going to try to make it as least hostile for me as possible.
Right.
And I got a lot of work done.
Good.
I got a lot of work done, had a breakthrough with a patient. So I'm just trying to make my mindset more positive. You know, even when things are not going my way or not going the way I want them to, or even if somebody's trying to make me angry, I'm just really trying to look at the positive. Mm-hmm. And that's that made my week. But it really is a process. Like I have to stop thinking the way I'm thinking and say, remember, you're doing a positive thing and, think positive, take 3 deep breaths and move on. And I also did go to the gym every day this week.
Oh, well, good for you. Woo, woo.
I sure did. And I only went to Chick-fil-A once. So I had a good week.
You had a good week. And let me just make an honorable mention of my week because I was so high on the date. I forgot to say this. At work, speaking of being positive at work, I had to get a new computer. Okay. And all of everything on my computer, all my files from 2008 was gone or are gone. Since 2008, since I've been working there, all the files are deleted.
What?
So the guy that gave me the new computer, he didn't transfer the files over.
Is he fired?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm trying my best not to make a big deal. Like, I'm super upset. They're trying to do what they could do to try to restore it. You know, he had overrode the hard drive. So it's just a big mess. And I'm trying my best not to make like a big deal of it so that he won't get fired because he got something going on with him. And I think it's more of like a social type of need, like a social type of special need. And because of that, I'm trying not to make a big deal out of it because people treat him bad at the job to me. And you know how I feel about bullies. And so, and you know how I feel about people that's disabled. And so because of that, I'm trying not to be like, I'm trying to be very calm and positive. So I'm going to adopt what you said and be positive too. But anyway.
But you know what it's not funny, but you know.
Get great.
What's the name of that school that was in the parking lot of where your job used to be? And remember, we used to say a lot of people go to that school, the training school. Remember? What was
it? At my old job?
Yeah, where the job used to be, the same job, but before y'all moved. Remember?
What was it, ICBC? No shade to ICBC.
I mean, and it's probably not even that, but you was like, damn, a lot of motherfuckers go to this school. Like, he was a graduate. He got a job next door.
Yes. So I'm trying to be positive. But anyway, moving on. Who did some shit this week?
You know, I have been, if you follow us on social media, I've been trying to post some who did some shits throughout the week when I see things, because sometimes I just be shaking my head so hard. Like, let me just put this up here because I can't even believe. But this week we had 2 Living While Black situations. Well, the one was a little older when the white woman was trying to block the man from getting into his own apartment building. And then she followed him to the apartment and was demanding to know where he lived and all this other kind of stuff. Well, she was fired from her job. And right. And ironically, she worked in for a housing leasing company, but she didn't work for the company that owns the building where she lived, but she worked for another housing, leasing building, whatever. But she lost her job. And in an interview, she said that
they interviewed her?
Yes, there was an interview, and in the interview, she said she felt that what she did the right thing. She said she can't even believe that she was fired. She did the right thing. There was a charge from the HOA that we need to confront everyone who doesn't look like they belong here and ask them, where they're going. Don't let anyone in that doesn't have a key. And she's trying to say that the man, forced himself in. But if you're in a building, she was coming out and he was going in at the same
right
time.
So you didn't bring your key out. Yeah.
Right. It's no need because the door is open. You're just walking in. You're going home. And who the hell are you? Do you know everybody that lives in your building?
And get to know the people who live in your building if you feel like that. But I'll let you continue before I say something.
And even if you don't want to get to know the people, because everybody is not neighborly friendly or whatever that. And who do you were charged by the HOA?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? The CIA, the police? Who are you?
Right.
And last but not least, I do not condone violence. But what if he'd have punched your dumb ass in the face?
Exactly.
Exactly. You know what I mean? What? And so she really feels that she should not have been fired from her job, and she feels that she did the right thing. Not the right thing is let that man go to his apartment, or whatever.
Right.
She feels that she was wronged.
Well, the biggest thing out of this is that a person who did wrong got interviewed. And they got a chance to tell they're wrong. Did they interview the black man who was...
I did not see that.
Oh, okay, because I don't remember seeing that come across my social media at all either. I don't remember reading anything about the man being interviewed, but she's getting interviewed. That's first. Secondly, get to know your neighbors if you feel this strongly about... stopping someone. The HOA charged you to be large in charge or margin in charge. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you followed him to his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the other way around and it was a man following a woman, especially a black man following a white woman to her apartment, you don't know if somebody is, first of all, here's the thing. If somebody follows me to my apartment, I feel threatened.
Right.
I feel and this ain't about violence. This is about protecting myself.
Right.
And I feel like I have to, by any means, protect myself. I don't know if you are following me to my door, if you're going to push me in, if you're going to murder me, if you're going to do something to me. He don't know any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The fact that you felt like somebody that didn't belong there, how do you know who looks like they don't belong there? What did he do besides walk in the door after you that made you say, oh, he don't belong here? The only thing that the man did was be black. And so I just want these people to come out and just say, look, I don't like these black people hanging around. I don't think you should be living here. He was black. That's why I followed his ass. And just be real about your stuff. And you got fired from your job because you work in housing, and look what you did at your own damn house. I don't know if you're going to do this with somebody that lives in this house, because when you work in a complex, you don't know everybody that lives there. So who's to say that if you at your job complex that you won't walk behind somebody else and ask them what they doing there and why they there? They don't got no key or whatever the case is. That's why you got fired, dumbass.
Exactly. And then the other incident was with the little boy who was in the store with his parents, and he had his book bag, and his book bag brushed up against another lady, a butterface looking lady. And she said that she was sexually assaulted because the book bag touched her, and she called the police.
Right.
And for real, lady, sometimes, we do these who did some shits. but I really don't want to talk about it because I just, like, for real, lady, for real.
Well, it's important to talk about it because the stuff is happening, and I know, like some things is just so draining that you just want to like gloss over it. But you talking about a child, and people on social media made reference to Emmett Till, and it was the truth. What happened? What happens to a young black boy? When you watch the video, the little boy is outside and he is crying and he's scared, physically shaking,
right?
With his mother, and he's just like, let's go, because as a young black boy, automatically you're looked at as a man. We talked about this before on the podcast. Our kids aren't afforded the opportunity to be looked at as children,
right?
And so because of that, at a certain age, and this little boy was what was he? He was like 10 or something like that. Yeah. By the time you 10 years old, especially like he's growing up in Brooklyn, you growing up in New York, I'm sure that his mom has had a certain talk with him, because by 10 years old, we got to have a certain talk with our kids, especially with our black boys. And so he's scared now because as a child that's that old, exposed to social media, exposed to the news, your mother having a talk with you, you don't know what's going to happen. So of course you are scared that this white woman is now on the phone calling the police on you, saying that you sexually assaulted her. You thinking in your mind like this is about to be it. You see what happened to Tamir Rice. You see what happened to Trayvon Martin. Young children, Jordan Davis, young children, you know what I'm saying, who got murdered at the hands of white people, or white people saying that they did something. So, yes, he's scared. And this woman, they should lock the damn woman up for making false claims. And then when the
abuse
woman
of 911.
Exactly. And then when the woman came back to the bodega and saw the video, or when it was exposed to her, the video was exposed to her once, everything, came out, she gonna go back and then say, oh, I apologize. It really wasn't like that. First of all, you could have got this. We talked about this on the podcast about you calling the cops on people,
you
not knowing what the outcome is going to be,
not
caring about what the outcome is going to be. You don't live the same life as we live. And she knows that, which is the reason why she called the cops. Because as far as I'm concerned, she's a murderer. As far as I'm concerned, she needs to be locked up under the jail, because you don't know what could have happened had the cops came and did something to that little boy.
Right. Absolutely. It was a nothing situation. You had you were causing, making a cause where you had no control over the effects.
Right.
Putting more people in danger.
Right.
Thinking about yourself over something stupid.
Right. And not to mention the fact that boy had a parent with them.
Yes. And his dad came.
It's a announcement, people. When you got a problem with children, you don't address children when their parent is around. You address their parent. You are an adult, so you address an adult. Whoever that child is with, if they're with an adult, then you address that adult, not no damn child.
Right.
Because according to the video, the mother came once she turned around and she said whatever she said. The mother came to her and basically was like, "What's the problem?"
Exactly.
And then she said whatever she said. The mother addressed it, and then the mother walked off. Right. Now, that's another case of, what about if I punched you in your fucking face? Then what?
Exactly.
You don't want us to be violent, and you don't want us to react a certain kind of way. What do you think that this stuff is going to get you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, it's just ridiculous how, and more the stories are saying, we hear about these things in the news and other outlets because the news doesn't even want to talk about the real issues. Mm-hmm. And people are saying more and more when this happens to them, it's like, okay, we're hearing about this stuff, but I never thought it would happen to me. Mm-hmm. Or, we're hearing it, I never thought it would happen to me. Like, oh my goodness, this does really happen. Mm-hmm. So I just think that, and I don't think that I'm a, mean type person. Mm-hmm. And I respect diversity and all of that. But I am more cautious of what I do, how I move, who I speak to, because it's just like wolves in sheep's clothing. I mean, it's Halloween. and everybody's got on the fake. But, more and more they can't. It's like, what is that with Martin? Big Mama's house. Like you got into the fight and your mask came off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because more and more people are just revealing their true self.
Oh, they are. Exactly.
But what gets on my nerves is if we respond, because
then we're wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. When we respond, we're wrong. And I'm saying, even if we not even responding in violence, but even if we say something, if our voice is elevated, if we move a certain way, they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to kill me.
Exactly.
Any response that we do, then we are the aggressor. We're wrong. And I said this before, they look to Black people a lot as, they victimize us, they criminalize us, they have we're violent people, they stigmatize us all the time. But in my formative years, white men were the scariest creatures alive. Everything I saw on TV was white men killing people, beating people, whipping people, hollering at people, stomping on people. They are the monsters.
They have always been violent toward us. We haven't been violent towards them. At the end of the day, any group of people, and I don't care if you say it wasn't me, it was my grandparents, whoever it was, if a group of people owned another group of people, you're violent.
And you think it's okay.
And you think it's okay. And you said this, not alluded to, but you said this on last week. They think slavery is a part of history. Like it was just something, it's just regular. It's just like, remember when I went to the corner store and I got them chips that day, girl? It's just like that.
Like we used to have slaves, but now we got to pay to help.
Exactly.
It's no big deal. Right.
Exactly. And so again, white people have always been violent toward us. We haven't been violent toward them. And even in the instances that you see now with these people, I let me tell you something. I told you this earlier. I applaud these people for having the calm that they have, because I know for like to pull out your camera and say, I'm gonna video this to get this on tape or whatever, because I know who I am as a person and how I feel about a certain group of people. I wouldn't probably have that same reaction. Like, oh, I'm gonna video this. I just wouldn't, because my first instinct would be like, what the hell? And it wouldn't be to take out my phone. And so, you said it best, wolves in sheep clothing. Be careful out there, because it's 2018, it's about to be 2019, and things are getting worse, not better.
It does seem that way.
It is that way. Get right. Get your house in order, because, and get your house in order. That's all I'll say. Because this world is going to hell in a handbag, sweetie.
Right. And I just this is our last Who Did Some Shit. And I just want to emphasize the fact that this is taught. This attitude toward people of color is a taught attitude, because there were two little boys. They were in like maybe the second or third grade. I don't remember. But they were in like second or third grade, and one little boy was Black and the other little boy was white. And he went home and they were going on a trip, on a school trip. So the little white boy went home and told his mom and dad that he wanted his hair cut like his friend. Like, just say his name is David. Like, cut my hair like David. And they're like, you want to get your hair cut like David? And he said, yeah, because we're going on a trip tomorrow and we're going to be twins and they're not going to be able to tell us apart.
No.
And so he really thought that if he had his hair cut low, that he would look like the boy. And so what the parents did was they cut his hair because he wanted his hair cut, because, white folks would do that. And they made a shirt with them, and it's like, a caricature type shirt. And with the low haircut, they look like they could have been twins, and they let them wear the shirts on the little trip. So, and that just tells you it is taught. It's something that's taught. You don't care, but I do.
I don't at all, because
I know.
When I hear that kind of stuff, I'm just like, so is it taught on their end or is it taught on all ends? Because like, is it taught for us? Is it taught for us? Because I don't remember my mom sitting me down and teaching me that all white people is bad, and and this is what I remember my mom having a certain talk with me, but I don't remember her having that talk with me. And so
I do believe that it's something. I think that racism is something that that is taught. And I think that it comes up in situations where it's okay for you to have friends of color until something happens, and then they start to separate themselves. Or it's okay to have friends of color until you're both competing for the same position, and then they, put this thing in that, oh, you're better. You understand what I'm saying? It is.
Racist, so I understand.
I'm not saying that it's something. And if it's not taught in our community, it needs to be, because we need to be aware of our history. And we always say this: we need to be aware of our history, and we need to be aware of our current surroundings and what the climate is now, and racial tensions, because we need to know that the people's perception of us is not really who we are. But what I was saying is taught is something that, Caucasian people teach their young people that they're better. The privilege is perpetuated. Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I meant. So there we go with that. So on some other shit.
Yeah.
Some other shit. Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Okay.
Because we've been talking about this for a while. A lot of situations coming up, going on, people talking about stuff, and signing up to be a single parent.
Signing up to be a single parent. Listen. So are we talking about signing up to be a single parent? Like, let's get into what we're talking about when we say that. Because are we talking about like me? I'm of a certain age and I don't have kids. Then I go get artificially inseminated. Then I have a baby, like signing up to be a single parent like that, or signing up to be a single parent like he got 20 kids and now you want to be the 21st baby mom.
Right. I think there's a difference between signing up to be a single parent and choosing to be a single parent.
Okay.
I think choosing to be a single parent is one thing, because you look at your situation, you evaluate your situation, you weigh the pros and cons, you think about the future. Most people who choose to be a single, there's people who, took time in their career first and, then they just never got married or whatever happened. And they're saying, you know what, I really want to be a parent. And, they choose to be a single parent. I chose to be a single parent because when I was married and things weren't working out. And then I tried to make things better. Work. I tried to hang in there. I tried, there was a lot of things I did. I tried. And then it was like, can you stay here for the kids? Oh, the children need parents. I never thought I would be a single parent. And I never, ever thought that I would choose to be a single parent. But then one day I just said, you know what? I can't do this anymore, because I feel like I could not raise mentally healthy children if I was miserable. And I was miserable. I was miserable. And, I chose, and I said, and I started to think about like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to be a single parent. But then I was like, well, my mom did it. And, I know so many other mothers that did it. Doesn't make it good. And I'm saying, well, what is my alternative? To stick it out and be miserable? How long can I be miserable?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not suicidal. I could possibly be homicidal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I made a choice. I looked at all those things and I made a choice. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are people who are signing up. And because a lot of times you're signing up and you don't even know that you're signing up to be a single parent. And I'm here to help you with that.
Well, I think that, because we probably going to disagree on some of this, because I think that people who sign up to be a single, I'm a let you tell me what you mean by that. But I think that people that sign up to be a single parent know exactly what they're doing.
You do?
Yeah.
They may know. Okay.
Listen, I'll give you an example.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'll give you an example and then we can talk about it. Because I really want to know what your definition of a single parent is. But let me just give you,
I think my definition, what I think a single parent is not what you're expecting. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me just give you a little example of when I say I think they know exactly what they're doing. If you're dealing with somebody, we women, right? You dealing with a man. You dating this man, he got other kids. Right? He don't take care of them other kids.
Right.
At all. You ain't never seen Ray at your house. Y'all ain't never went on no date to the park with the kids. You know, nothing. And then you have a baby by him. Right. You're signing up to be a single parent, and you know exactly what you're doing because you think that I'm better. So I ain't going to have the situation that Sharonda and them had. No, you going to have it too. And then when it comes and it's a pie in your face and you like, I can't believe Jerome did this. No, believe it because Sharonda was your example, honey. Like,
okay, but we agree. Okay. We agree with a twist.
All right.
Okay, so in that situation, she definitely is signing up to be a single parent.
Yes.
Okay, and she thinks she knows what she's doing because she's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she's wrong. So she thinks that she knows. She thinks that it's going to work out. I'm the one. I make the difference. She's wrong. Yeah. So she doesn't know that she's wrong. You know what I mean? But she's still.
And I think she does know that she's wrong. I think that I'm telling you, like, listen, when
if she knew she was wrong, she wouldn't do it. You don't know you're wrong until it happens.
All right, listen. Because we're going to get into a tangent. Let's start at the beginning. What is your definition of a single parent? Okay. Before I even continue on with that conversation. Okay, go ahead. Okay,
because I feel like a single parent is an unwed parent. Because I'm saying mom, dad, whatever. So a single parent is if you're not married to the child's other parent. Period. If you are married to someone who is not the child's parent, you still could be a single parent. We did a whole podcast on it. He's into me, but not my kids. You know, that could still be single parenting. If you're married, if you're shacking together, they can leave at any time. If you're not
married, you can leave at any time too. But go ahead.
That's true too.
You just said you left your husband, but go ahead.
But it didn't happen like overnight. I mean, I had to consider a lot of things. But when we were married and together, I was not a single parent. The moment I left, I was a single parent. Okay. So I think single parent to me is you are married to the child's other parent.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're married to the child's other parent, you are a single parent. Now, if you have children by a previous relationship and you're married to someone and you have a child together, I don't think that's single parenting either, because at least you have something vested in at least one of the children. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, but to me, unless you're married to the child's other parent, you are a single parent.
That's your definition of being a single parent.
You are a single parent. Now, people may not be together and co-parent well, but everybody knows that the custodial parent has more responsibility than the non-custodial parent. And a child cannot live two places at the same time. Now, you can also be married to someone else who is like involved with the kids and love you and love the kids and all of that great stuff. But when a situation comes up, it may not happen, but it's possible that the person will be like, well, that's not my thing when things get too serious. They don't like to be all in the real super serious things. And sometimes children change their mind on the non-biological step parent.
So is all your definition of a single parent.
That's why unless you're married to the child's other parent, everything else to me is a single parent.
And well, we definitely have different definitions of what a single parent is. Because I don't think that I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think if you raising your kid by yourself, you a single parent. And I think that if you are co-parenting, you would still be considered a single parent to an extent. No, you are. No, listen, you are. But specifically, I don't think that well, me and you think different about marriage too. So,
what do you think different about marriage?
We do, because I don't believe that, like, unless you're married to, I mean, people have successful relationships without being married.
That's
all the time. So, and I'm not one of them kind of people that's like, you had your kids out of wedlock. I'm
not saying you had your kids out of wedlock. I'm not saying you had your kids out of wedlock. I'm saying that unless you're married, you're single, period. So if you're single and you have a child, you're a single parent. That's all I'm saying. I'm just applying logic. Go ahead.
That's cool. But again, to me, a single parent is just someone who's raising their kids by themselves. Okay. Single, meaning one, meaning you. You are the single parent. So that's my definition. I mean, it's real cut and dry to me. That's my definition of a single parent.
Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be that single parenthood was something that happened kind of like by chance. It wasn't the optimal thing, and sometimes parents would get divorced or separated or widowed, so it was kind of like chance, like mostly the family stayed together. And I'm talking about the Black family in particular. But now, baby mama and baby daddy is like a real thing. Yes. And some people only aspire to be or only ever achieve that status. They really think that that's a status. Baby mama, baby daddy. So, that's single parent. Like, what? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not judging anybody. But I have, and recently, I've helped a few people save their marriage. I don't know why I couldn't do it for myself, but I helped and I think because it's something I learned after the fact as I got older. Right. I helped quite a few people save their marriage, and the fact that I think that what they're looking for from in the marriage is something. Sometimes it's just not realistic. And you're responsible for your own happiness. I always say, start with you. Start with you, and whatever it is that you think they're not giving you that you want, it's not their responsibility to give you. Like, I'm, beyond, like, as long as he's not knocking you out at not, you know what I mean, raping you, punching you, things like that. So, I just think that I don't know where we got to this baby mama, baby daddy thing, but now that it's a thing, I think that it's something that some men and women, that's all they're just satisfied with that. And so we will continuously have a whole lot of single parents. In your example that you gave, and I have quite a few others that are, these situations where you are literally signing up to be a single parent. And I say, you may not know, because you don't, even if you think you're wrong. So you can't know. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, it's a twofold thing. Some people, you're right. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you in that you're not right, that some people don't know, because I think that even with the baby mama and the baby daddy thing, it's a twofold thing. Some people don't sign up to be a baby mama. You know what I'm saying? And some people do sign up to be a baby mama. The example that I gave earlier, you signing up to be a baby mama. But the example of, I'm with my man, we together, we're in a relationship. No, we're not married. We're in a long-term relationship, and then we had kids. You know what I'm saying? And then you
signed up to be a baby mama.
Why? Because you're not married?
Right.
No, but see, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, because I think that marriage is important. I think that it's beneficial. I think that it's a great partnership. And do I want to be married one day? Sure. But would I be happy in a successful relationship without marriage? Yeah, I would. But again, that's for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I probably wouldn't be in another long-term relationship like I had been in the past, and we don't
Why
get
not?
married.
Why not?
Well, because that relationship wasn't successful. If I was in a relationship, if me and his relationship was successful and it was a long-term relationship, then that'd be cool. But I'm talking about successful. What we had wasn't successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But
it wasn't.
But you wouldn't
It
do
wasn't.
it again unless you got married. You just said.
Because I said that I wanted to be. I think that marriage is a good partnership. It's beneficial. If our relationship has those things, we got a good partnership. It's beneficial. You know what I'm saying? In certain ways, yes, I would be in a relationship that was successful. Keyword being successful without being married. You know, but that works for me. That might not work for somebody else, you know. But again, the example of if you with somebody in a long-term relationship is not successful, you go and then y'all break up, you're still in the eyes of society, or you know, or in where, like you said, I don't know where we went wrong at or where we went left at, then you consider that person's baby mama. So that's why I said that it's a twofold thing. Not signing up to be a baby mom like my dumb ass is just like I'm having a baby by Jerome, knowing that Jerome got 17 kids out there. You know what I'm saying? I told one of our cousins, I said, you signed up to be a single mom when you had your baby. And she was like, what you mean? And I said, you knew that he had other kids that he wasn't even telling your ass about. Like he had, you know, as far as you was concerned, he had 3 kids by 3 different women. Then he had, I don't even know how, I don't know, like for real, nobody knows the real number of how many kids this joker got. And then you decided to have a baby by him. Why are you even sleeping with that person unprotected? Why are you even getting yourself in a position where you would have a baby by him, knowing what he does? Let me say this, if I don't say nothing else on this podcast, especially during this episode, pay attention to what somebody does and the movements that they have, you know, the ambitions that they have. You just pay attention to everything about them. If a person has a responsibility that they're not taking care of, they are not responsible. They ain't going to take care of your responsibility. It's just like the writing is on the wall. And it's not a situation because you don't use the excuse of, oh, she won't let me see her. He won't let me get over there. And listen, it's a way, if as a parent who wants to be in a child's life, it's a way to see that child. So if Jerome ain't taking care of that child, it ain't got nothing to do with what Sharonda ain't letting him do. It has everything to do with what Jerome ain't doing. So don't you sign up to be a part of Jerome's harem.
Exactly. And even if Jerome doesn't have any children, if you are a woman and you participate in casual sexual relationships, 9 times out of 10 you're signing up to be a single parent. Because casual sexual, see, we always lose that game. I don't care how detached we can be, because some women can have detached sex too, just like men.
Oh, 100%.
You know, they can have detached sex too. However, it's the birth control measures and the protection that's lacking. You know, I know because I work it every day. You know what I mean? So you pop up pregnant. And it's like, oh, well, right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you tell him and he like, oh, well, you know.
We wasn't even like that.
Right.
You know, because that's usually the response.
Exactly.
We wasn't even like that. I thought this was just like a
whoa.
casual thing. We was just going to do the 1-2s.
He was taking care of everything.
And let me tell you something. My grandmother always told me from a small girl, if you have, you know, when you little and you playing with dolls, she used to say, see that doll you playing with? Just remember, when you grow up and you have a baby, that's your baby. And that's what people really need to get through their head. It's your child. If that other person decides to walk away,
which they do,
it is what it is. You still have to take care of that responsibility. So when you out there and like you said, you having casual sex, remember, if something happens, it's your responsibility. If the baby is growing inside of you, the baby gonna come out of your private parts. So the baby is gonna be your responsibility.
Right.
And Jerome's cousin ain't going to take care of him.
Exactly.
Just saying.
So,
maybe he will, maybe he won't.
And even if you have somebody taking care, like I know women who have children and they might have a little dude or whatever that, you know, help them out with bills and stuff like that, but you're still a single parent. You know what I mean? parent, I tell people all the time, parent is a noun and a verb.
Mm-hmm.
The verb is more important.
Mm-hmm.
The verb is more important. And when you are parenting, there are a lot of decisions every day that you have to make concerning your child's welfare and their future.
Mm-hmm.
And when things happen and you're saying, am I doing this the best? Or if your child is playing sports and they get hurt and then you're in the hospital all night by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or with your good girlfriends or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? That's the part of the single parenting that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're going through stuff, you don't have anybody who has just as much vested interest in you and the child.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you can get remarried and the husband usually has vested interest in you. And because the baby is part of you, hopefully they have some vested interest in the child, but it's not always that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a man or a boyfriend, I mean, I just think grown people are a little too old for boyfriends. I don't know what that's about, but they're trying to make it with you. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh man, all right, well call me, let me know what happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're still by yourself.
Yeah.
So and that's the part of, that's one of the hardest parts of single parenthood. So women who have casual sexual relationships, women who choose to have children by men who already have children, especially if they have children by multiple women and they don't take care of them. Also, women who get pregnant thinking that it's going to strengthen their relationship.
Which is the dumbest damn thing ever, because kids do one or two things. They either bring you closer together or they tear you further apart. And so, 9 times out of 10, if you are already struggling in your relationship and then you choose to have a child thinking that that's going to strengthen it, I don't know what rock you fell off of and bumped your head, because if you already struggling, I don't care if you got the perfect kid, it brings stress to a situation. It brings stress to your life. You constantly worried about the child. Am I doing the right thing? Am I feeding them the right ounces? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I pull this tooth out? What school I'm gonna pick? Is this joker gonna wear blue Jordans today or black? Do you have medical benefits? Damn, I gotta save for college. Can I get a Gerber plan? Yes, it's always a something.
It's a lot.
And so because of that, and you're responsible for the child for the rest of your damn life. You're constantly stressed for the rest of your life. Even when your kids get old, you still stressing about them.
Amen. Yeah, I'm a witness.
Right. Exactly. Right. And so to think that that's going to bring a relationship that's already rocky together, it's not, because it's already stress on the relationship before you even have the baby. And then you bring more stress onto the relationship. So it's
and resentment.
Yeah.
And resentment. You bring resentment in because, you're trying to do something on purpose, to manipulate, because really it is manipulation of the other person, or you're trying to manipulate the other person. And even if you're in a relationship and you try to have a baby to strengthen a relationship, you're signing up to be a single parent. But also if you're in a relationship and if the man tells you that he doesn't want children.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of chicks that do this. They be like, oh, well, he just going to have to deal with it. And you know what they are?
Single parents. Exactly. 100%.
Single mom. If a person tells you, if they tell you they don't want children, you have to believe them.
Yes.
You have to believe them. Now, I've known of men who say, I don't want children. And then their relationship didn't work because the woman wanted children and he didn't. So they broke up. And then he went on and they had a child. It wasn't their choice. They were in a relationship and the girl got pregnant and was like, oh, well, you want to deal with it because it's her body. She could choose. And then the other girl gets mad, like, you said you didn't want to have kids. Well, they still didn't want to have kids.
They just had a kid.
Exactly. And that mom is still a single parent.
Exactly.
Because he didn't want to have kids.
And it's like the old saying. Like Maya Angelou said, if somebody tell you who they are, believe them. If they show you who they are, believe them. So if they tell you that they don't, that's like me. I don't have children, right? I don't know if children I don't know if I'm gonna have children, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would never date someone who children were completely off the table. Like I wouldn't date
Right.
someone even without children that said either they had children, because I date men with children. That's not a thing to me. But if he said, I don't want to have no more kids, I wouldn't continue to date him.
Right.
If I wanted to be serious, if I was looking for a serious relationship, I wouldn't continue to date him because, again, while I don't know that kids is in my future, I don't want it to be taken off the table. So I wouldn't date that guy. And I wouldn't date the guy who didn't have. I want to date the guy that don't have kids. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want to date the guy that don't have kids. That's like, I want to have kid tomorrow because I don't know you, brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
10-year plan. Right.
I don't care if it was a 10-minute plan. I don't want to date you today and we have the 10 date and then tomorrow you say, because I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm having kids. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got a tricky situation going on. But whatever it is, it's my situation. And if I choose to sign up to be a single parent, it's going to be on me,
Right.
I probably am not going to go but I am of the mindset of, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm also of the mindset of, if something happens, it's my damn baby. If nobody is there, it's my baby. So now, do you want a baby? Because that's what you got to keep telling yourself. Because that's what I tell myself all the time. So, hey, do you want a baby? Because this is what can happen. You know what I'm saying? So do you want a baby? That's what's always in the forefront of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Anything, it's like, oh, he gave me a kiss. Do you want a baby? You got to you got to be thinking
right. Right. And that's what, and I just wanted to, because we have been talking about it for a while, because people just come up to us, they ask us all kinds of things, and then when you tell them the truth, they look at you like, oh my gosh, you said this to me, whatever. And I'd be like, no, dummy, and I'm not like, not to put you down or anything, but were you thinking, or what were you thinking, or whatever. But there's a difference between choosing to be a single parent, because like today, a lot of women are choosing to be a single parent. Like marriage and families has taken a backseat to education, careers, and traveling and bucket lists and goals and all that stuff. And then they're saying they get to a certain age and they're still single and they say, I'm either going to adopt. Like you have a friend that adopted, I have a friend that adopted, or they're, getting having babies in unconventional ways, and because that's what they're choosing. But most of the people that I know that did that, they're established, they have a good job, they have education, they have something to offer. Being a single parent with means is way different from being a single parent and broke.
You got that right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're never really ready, even when you do have means.
With means, right.
I mean, even when you plan out to have a child, it's always something else. It's something else to consider. It's something else to think about. And you made a great point earlier when you said you don't have the support of another person that's vested in your child. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to consider. Now, unfortunately, we know more people who signed up to be a single mom on some like, nah, I'm having this baby because I'm different. And he going to take care of this baby. We know more people under that whole thing than we do of the people who was like, I did all this. I'm of a certain age. I got certain means and I'm going to have a baby, and go ahead.
And here's another scenario of signing up to be a single parent. If you taking care of him and you having a single
parent.
You a single parent.
You a single parent before you
taking care of him. Exactly. You taking care of him and the kid. Or kids. Like you still a single parent. Open your eyes, Bill. Get your life. But you are a single parent. If it's their child and they in the house and you taking care of everybody,
you're a single parent. Exactly.
You're a single parent. But absolutely. And I say this all the time. I tell people, I never wanted children. I never wanted children because I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. And
go ahead, though.
Okay, but I am, I'm like, okay, I'm even in my work. I like to do program management because if you have a vision, I come in, I bring that vision to fruition. It's up, it's running, it's working, and I'm moving on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like. But when it comes to children, I always, always, always thought like, oh my goodness, I want my children to have all the opportunities that other children have. And what
Mm-hmm.
if I don't have enough money? Or what if I'm not in the right place? Or what if I
Mm-hmm.
can't get them to this and to that? And how do I know what they're going to like? And, almost like obsessive,
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm very, very fortunate in that I was able to stay home with my children
Mm-hmm.
well into their school years. And so I was a stay-at-home mom, which made me feel good because I felt like I was raising my children and not anyone else. And then when my daughter, well, both my children went to private school. My son has autism, so he went to a private school for children with special needs. And my daughter went to a private Christian school. But when she went to this Christian school, I was like, the tuition was so darn high. And that's why, I know God is real because I was broke, but he just sent
Mm-hmm.
the money every year. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I will always say, Lord, please don't let my child be the broke one in the school. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Please, if something comes up and she wants to do it, let us be able to participate as well.
Yeah.
Driver's ed is free in public school, but in private school you had to pay. And thank goodness I had the money, to pay because she wanted driver's ed like everybody else. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? When
Mm-hmm.
they came up with the missions classes and she wanted to go on the missions trip, we had the means like other people. And
Mm-hmm.
this little chick, she even drove to school her senior year. So they got the
Mm-hmm.
little senior parking lot. She was all up in there with her
Yeah,
car
because I
too.
didn't get a car till I got out of college and I could buy it myself.
Right.
But
So,
that's
right.
just
She had a
saying.
car before she had a license. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with her permit, she would drive me. I would drop her off, and then I'll come back and pick her up. She would drive home every day.
Mm-hmm.
She did that for months up until the time she took her test. So, when you're a parent, you want your children to have opportunity, and you don't want them to be. They don't have to be the best, but you certainly don't want them to be the least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the thing that I, was concerned about most.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it was just one income. It was
Mm-hmm.
just me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So a lot of the things like with Jiggy and the autism, and it was frustrating at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of battles. But when I went to bed, I cried, and
Mm-hmm.
I cried alone. And
Mm-hmm.
it was difficult. So I just don't understand why people, yes, can you do it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But what I'm saying is it's not an easy thing. And we don't always consider the child.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like maybe just yesterday, Deja finally gave up the notion that me and her dad would get back together one day.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's just something she's always held on to for a long time. Like, I'm serious, like just very, very recently. Even though she's older and she knows the circumstance, she knows who he is, she knows who I am. It doesn't matter because that's how children think. That's how children think. That's my mom and
so bad.
I'm just saying, that's how children think. That's my mom, that's my dad. They was together, they should be together, and they may be together again. But now we living in a world where the mom don't even know the dad.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know what happens with those children who don't even a family portrait, or I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, no shade. I'm not
No shade, because that was funny as hell. But no, I understand. I get it. I think that I get it. I think that it's very important to, like you said, understand that being a single parent is being alone in that struggle, and so if you can avoid signing up in the way that we're talking about, in a negative way of signing up, then try to avoid it. Now, if you want to be a single parent by choice, do you, boo?
Right.
That's all we could say. Don't call we did that shit for Pampers. And with that, I think that said a mouthful. But it is possible. Just be mindful of what you're signing up for. That's what I'll leave with. Just be mindful of what you're signing up for. And you got anything else?
No. Are we
Okay.
going to do personal journals?
I think we should do personal journals this week. I think, personal journals is like here today, going tomorrow. But I think that
They shouldn't be.
I know, because, yeah, well, what you got for your personal
I
journal?
would blame you, but it's not your fault.
Yeah, damn.
I mean, I'm just
How
saying.
black people do you? But go ahead. What do you have this week for your personal journal?
So, my personal journal is always something on my vision board, because that's the whole reason that we created a vision board, to stay on track of what we want for our life. My vision board is not something that's like New Year's resolutions, nothing. This is life goals. So it's always a process. So I am going to focus on the release the pounds portion of my vision board. And I do want to release the pounds. I want to lose some weight. My vision board has health makeover, body beautiful, and finding my peace. Because really, when you talk about your body, this is about how you esteem yourself. Like, we all have imperfections. We all have things that, we don't like. And I really don't believe in talking about, like, if it's something you can change, try to change it. So that's what I have done. So I've been doing some research on some things, and I have not discovered, because I've known about it for a long time, but it's October, so it's my month to support my BFF in her weight loss journey. So she said she wanted to do intermittent fasting, so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So I started Sunday. So I fast for 16 hours, and I only eat from 12 noon to 8. It's not bad. It's not bad. I feel progressive, and I feel like I'm shrinking the time. Now at 12 noon, I'm hungry. At 11:19, I'm hungry. At 11:24, I'm ravenous. At 11:37, I'm ready to shoot somebody.
Right.
But I noticed that I get up in the morning and I make breakfast. And I put it in, I take it with me and put it in my bag, because at 12 o'clock, I'm eating it.
Yes.
Like, on the dot, I'm eating it. But I don't feel like I'm gorging for the 8 hours or anything. I feel like I have more clarity. I feel like I have more energy. Yes. I do. And I have made it to the gym every day. Like I say, if I can go to work, I can go to the gym, even if I'm only there for a half hour. So I've been, doing something and doing this intermittent fasting. It's been almost a week, and that's a long time for me. Y'all just don't. Y'all just don't know. I don't, 2 days and I'm good. Like, but I feel better. So I am excited to see where this journey goes.
Good.
I do see a little difference in my clothes. So, we'll see. But intermittent fasting, I'm kind of digging it so far. So I'll keep you all up to date.
That was a good personal journal. Maybe one day I'll join you in a fasting, because I am on a challenge right now with my gym, and it's been going really well so far. I have not cheated. Well, we can't have dairy, and I have had butter, like a little bit of butter on my English muffins in the morning. But other than that, I haven't cheated. I'm doing good, and I feel a difference too. Well, my personal journal this week, I brought my vision board into my bedroom. So who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was talking about like bringing your vision board into where you can see it, because I was like, my vision board is like in my second bedroom in the closet or whatever. And she was like, no, you have to bring it out where you can like look at it, and really achieve the stuff that's on there. And I hadn't looked at the vision board since I moved. So it's been like over a year since I looked at the vision board. Like since I put it in that closet, I haven't looked at it. And it's funny that on the vision board is blog. And now we're doing the podcast. On the vision board is about weight loss, and now I'm doing a challenge. Okay. And I will say that bringing the vision board into view has helped me to say, damn, am I achieving the stuff that's on this board?
Right.
And since we're talking about vision boards and you brought up your vision board for your personal journal, I'll say something about mine. on my vision board, it says focus on me. And I've realized like I don't focus on me. I feel very guilty when I'm focusing on me, and I'm like, oh, just do this for yourself, you know. And we talked about this some episodes back about mental health and self-care. And I realized that I don't practice self-care at all, not even in the least bit. I literally feel overwhelmed when I'm thinking about myself. You know, it's like, I feel selfish, you know, when I'm thinking about me. And it's funny because I tell people all the time, like, girl, you better take care of yourself, because if you don't got yourself, then how the hell you going to take care of somebody else? And it's like, you know what, goofball? Take your own advice. You know what I'm saying? Take your own advice. Stop feeling selfish about what you need to achieve for yourself so that you can be there for other people. And so I want to focus on that. That's my personal journal. Just focusing on me and not feeling guilty, releasing that whole feeling, you know, just really, really just paying attention to yourself and being okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's my personal journal, I think, for life, but it's definitely my personal journal for this week. And like Bibbi said, I'll keep you posted on how that goes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, you know, with that, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. You know, again, don't sign up to be a single parent if you don't have to, because it is hard. Remember that you can follow us on all social media. You can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Listen, if you signed up to be a single parent and you want to tell us your story, this is a no judgment zone. Let us know. We want to hear from you. You send us a little comment on social media, or you can always email us at wedidthatshit@gmail.com. Again, it's wedidthatshit@gmail.com. Remember that we want to hear from you. You can always follow me on my personal Twitter at MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibbi Amina, BIBBIAMINA.
Yep. So we'll be here for an all new episode next Monday. Remember that the podcast drops with an all new episode every Monday, and you can find us anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. We say it every week, but literally you can find us anywhere that you can listen to your free podcast. Thank you so much for all of your support. We'll be here same time next week.
Remember, be great this week. Do that shit. I love you, Maya.
Love you too.